how AI can play a vital role in the growth of business and in the growth of your startup.
There's still a lot of unpredictability about what the AI can do. I think when you start looking at what the individual or a decision maker, the process a decision maker goes through, they go through subsequent steps. First of all, they need to either identify that there's a problem.
In 2021, a new thing came. In 2021, a new technology was introduced, which was known as artificial intelligence. Many big companies used this technology for the betterment or the growth of their business. Almost 80% of businesses, they have seen growth in their business with the help of AI. But in 2025, almost 75 to 70% entrepreneurs are still afraid of AI. Why? Because they have misconception that AI will going to overtake human resource or human work. This is reality or not? We will be going to discuss all these aspects in today's podcast because we will be having a business transformation expert and AI expert. He is Darren Edmund. He will be addressing all these queries in today's podcast. So without any further delay, let's dive into the podcast. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have Darren Edmund today in our podcast. He's the founder of Cobi. With that, he is a business transformation expert from last many years. He has been working. Thank you so much, Darren, for your precious time.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you for making the time.
So, when I was going through your profile, I have seen that you were a business student who transformed into AI person. You have been working in AI from last many years. On the other side, many people nowadays are afraid of AI. Why so?
I think there's still a lot of unpredictability about what the AI can do. I think there's still a lot of use cases there to be determined, a lot of use cases that need to have some further thought in regards to what the outcome should be. We like sure things, right? And sometimes when you have something that's outside of the box, it becomes a case of you're 80% of the way there, but that 20% makes me feel like maybe I won't go there. So I think from a challenge of what I see, especially for organizations when it comes to AI, everything is really hedged on risk. They love the opportunities, you know, when it comes to like efficiencies, when it comes to just being more creative, more innovative. It solves a lot for a lot of organizations we're speaking to. The sticking point is really when it comes down to risk. What's their risk exposure? And then also how does it impact their customers? So I think we're on the precipice of that. I think in the next year or two, we'll start to see a little bit more solid solutions, some more predefined outcomes. And that's where we'll really start to see from a business standpoint, where applications or AI agents, as everybody's talking about right now, we'll start to see them flourish and start to see organizations flourish too.
So, as an entrepreneur, you don't need to be afraid of AI. AI is just a robot. And I will be going to link my next question with the previous one, that how AI can play a vital role in the growth of business and in the growth of your startup. This is possible. At the end of the day, AI is just a robot, right?
Yeah, 100%. I think when you start looking at what the individual or a decision maker, the process a decision maker goes through, they go through subsequent steps. First of all, they need to either identify that there's a problem or identify some form of goal, right? And then from there, they need to be able to go through the data to understand what that actually means. Is that goal valid? Is there something that they're really trying to push towards? Is that valid? So when it comes to can it help the business? 100%. It's really a case of being able to spot identify opportunities very quickly. I think that's what we start to see with some of our customers. Is it's the case of being able to surface the challenge really, really quickly, and then start to, from a human perspective, so from a decision maker's perspective, start to ideate on, okay, these are the opportunities that are in front of me based on the information or data that's been presented, and you can act on that a lot quicker than you typically could before. That's how businesses are winning today. Is AI going to solve your entire business? No. Is AI going to make a lot of assumptions? Yes. That's what's going to do today. So we really need to work in tandem with the AI to understand, okay, this is my overall objective. This is what I'm trying to get to. It's almost having like 3, 4, 5 different brains connected to you for your path, and you selecting, what you feel right is within your gut. So from a business perspective, looking at speed of execution, being able to ideate and innovate, 100%, but that has to be in tandem with yourself. It has to be in tandem with the decision makers. And I think in the longer term, what it has to be is integrated with how people are working. So a typical workflow, you and I are in the same team, maybe we're in a product team, but we work on separate products. How can the decision maker or the chief product officer be able to look down on all the different products that are being offered and surface that data and work with us in tandem with the AI? So there are different ways that people can win with AI today.
Very well said, and I think we need to upgrade our skills. We need to learn new skills as an entrepreneur if we want to continue or if we want to grow our business in future. So on the other side, I have another question on the behalf of all common people, because they face a lot of problem regarding financial expenses. They can't manage. Even if I talk about myself, I can't manage my expenses. If I want to buy something of $100, and I don't need that thing, but definitely I will going to buy it. So you're a financial expert. You can answer this.
Well, let's take a step back. First of all, I'm not a financial expert. I'm a business transformation expert. So I'll make that clear. And I don't want to turn around and say I'm an expert when I'm not. But what I will say is when we start looking at the tool.
But you are running a financial institution. That's why.
So let's take a step back and look at that, right? That's a really interesting key point there. So what we realized is that the AI, the reason why I started on this journey is because I couldn't figure the same things that you couldn't figure out too, right? That was the pain problem there. But I knew that the solution was AI. The reason being is that it's able to do that thinking for us. And actually, we mentioned about the difference between AI and humans. Well, AI doesn't have the sentiment, right? It's not able to process emotions. It doesn't understand an emotional purchase, right? It understands a TV costs X. Whereas if I think about purchasing the TV, it's because I want to watch the football and I want to watch the NFL and I want to watch the NBA. So it takes that away. So what we were able to do is start to have the AI be able to make those calculations without that kind of emotive driver that we have, so that it's able to look at our overall spending and then being able to take away, okay, this is in relation to what you're earning and what comes in and out of your account. But dependent on your goals and where you're trying to get to, this is the best plan for you. But that's what we were working on the AI to do and to deliver. So again, working in tandem with the AI rather than having it replace everything you do. So that's kind of like where we started. So to answer your question of, how do we think about managing those expenses? And it's really a case of being able to understand. I think you and I, and mostly for layman people, we don't have context of where we are in the stratosphere of spending, right? I may earn 100,000 USD a year. However, I probably spend like I have 250,000 USD a year. And that's a real problem, right? That means I'm not being able to reach my goals. But I'm without that context, without that knowledge, and also without the help of particular financial institutions, I can't reach that goal. So again, what we leveraged with our AI is being able to push not only our own sentiment and our own personal goals, but able to connect into the financial institutions' products and what they serve and bring those two together. So that's a long-winded answer to your question. But what I would say is it's a case of finding the right tools and then being aligned with the right organizations that's going to be able to help you get to your financial objectives.
And I have taken these tips. I have noted down all these tips. And I will going to link this question with the previous one. because now we have talked about the common person, that how they can manage their finances. But uh, if we talk about startups, if we talk about larger organizations, they cannot manage their cost analysis.
I've seen a lot of people take different approaches to this. First of all, it starts with the driver, right? It's what they're trying to achieve. Um, just in our own case, what we've seen people do is have a look at, from our solution, what it is that they want to do with the solution. Some people are looking to have their bank be the primary card of use. Others are looking to be able to increase their product uptake from customers. So being very clear on where you are wanting to go with that original goal is probably where I see people start. The next part of that benefit analysis, the cost benefit analysis I see, is being able to understand that clear pathway of, okay, this is the defined outcome. This goes back to what we were saying earlier, right? If you're unable to see the defined outcome, people are somewhat skeptical to be able to buy into a solution. That's why your big tech that you see today, that spins off the shelf. Why? Because everybody uses it. So if there's an incumbent piece there that makes people feel like, oh, if I don't use this product, then I'm far behind. So when it comes to cost benefit analysis with AI, it's really a case of, okay, how quickly can I get to the objective that would have taken, how long would it have taken me to get to that objective if I don't have this tool versus if I do have this tool? How much time do I get to alleviate from my team if I do use this tool? Dare I say it, can I add resources to my team or take away resources from my team because of this tool? So that's how I've seen different people go about that. And then the kind of like hardcore metric that, we had a recent conversation with a customer, and the way that they approached it was just looking at, okay, what was their budget for a data analyst as an example? So they pegged the tool, what does the tool do and how similar is it to a particular role? And then being able to turn around and say, okay, well, this is how much I would have budgeted for that year for an individual. And maybe I had 2 individuals, I would have spent 100 grand. Then the versus what does the tool do? And then how does it replace those roles? And then from there, looking on to, okay, is there going to be like a profit? Can I earn money from this tool? So that's how I've seen different people go about that in that journey. But really, it's been an interesting place. There's no one size fits all, is what I would say here at all. But from a cost benefit analysis specifically for AI, they're never going to get it right. There are a whole bunch of assumptions. There are definitely some risks, but I think if there is the appropriate governance that's in place, if there's the appropriate framework that's set for their objectives, then they'll do fine.
Research is a key element, and I think as an entrepreneur, you need to research, comparative market research is the most important thing. A lot of people have another reservation regarding banks. They invest some sort of money in banks, but they also get some sort of profit. But they have a reservation that bank mostly the turnaround from bank is not profitable. So they want to know where bank invests customers' money, how they manage their finances, and what is the working model of banks. You can answer this question because you are working with banks as well.
So my personal take on it is, I sit on the fence. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing or a good thing in the way that the banks conduct business. I think that's the whole point of a bank. I think where it becomes probably more relevant to myself and my own opinion is, how does the bank help me? Not only do I want to be able to deposit my money, yes, I want to be able to invest my money, but where is the vested interest in regards to the right products that I need? I think one of the other things that needs to be asked, which we work with a few banks on, which is understanding what's the actual customer journey for a customer at the bank, right? What's that user journey? What does that look like? So what product do I start off with on day one? And what products should I be using by day 100 based on my interaction? So I guess my own opinion on how those banks kind of like make money, it's the benefit of us, right? That's how the whole machine works. So long as we are able to benefit as well, I don't necessarily think there's a problem.
So now I will detrack you and I will ask you some rapid fire question. It was not a part of our discussion, but it is a surprise element because a lot of people think that entrepreneurs, they have a very busy schedule, but on the other side, they do these things as well. So you are a morning person or night person?
All the way morning person, for sure.
Tea or coffee?
I'm an English man and I love English tea.
English man, that's great. Which was the last book you read and what was the message you get from that book?
Very interesting. The last book I read was The Art of the Deal by Donald Trump. Um, what did I get from it? Relationships are everything.
Okay. Physical books or ebooks?
Physical. I think we're lost in technology, we're lost in electronics, and I think there is a real beauty between being able to turn a page and then complete a whole book.
Favorite destination where you want to spend your whole life or for holidays?
Oh, that's a tough one. Um, my favorite destination, I'm gonna have to say, would be Bali, for sure.
Bali, okay. Calls or text?
It's better to get me on the phone. Let's have a proper discussion. Let me feel your emotions. Let me feel you. Let me feel yours. Yeah, definitely a phone call.
So the rapid fire rounds comes to an end and very well answered. Now we have to discuss a lot of things because we need to come back on the track. You are running a financial institution, Cobi, which manages customers' expenses, which tells that you need to spend amount here, you can save this amount here. But on the longer term, what is your future plan with Cobi? How will you going to expand it?
Sure. Yeah, so we started off exactly where you've just mentioned, and very quickly we've expanded to being able to provide data insights and analysis for banks, financial institutions, and anybody who deals with transactions at a high volume. So the first thing for us really is being able to make sure that these institutions understand us as individuals. I think that's step one before being able to save more money, before being able to take care of rewards or being able to be given a new product. You have to understand my intent. So that's what we're doing at the moment. We're working with several partners to achieve this. From there, what we're looking to be able to do is, it's already proven in the market right now, is once you understand my intent, what I'm and my behaviors, you're able to give me the right products. You're able to keep me engaged. And obviously, we're hearing everyone talk about hyper personalization, which it definitely has a place, but I think the right term would probably be hyper relevance. How can you surface things that are relevant to me? How can you surface products that are relevant to me? How can you engage with me in a way that's relevant? And that's what Cobi's doing today. So we have an engine that's able to pick up on all of those attributes, give it back to the bank or the financial institution. It's embedded in their technology. And then we're able to engage with customers in the way they need and support them in the way they'd like to be supported. So that's the first kind of objective for us right now. And we're working on that for the next year, 2 years on solidifying that. The next part would be kind of the longer term plan for Cobi is really having a race to the bottom. What that means is being able to give that same technology to SMEs, so smaller organizations. So rather than being just an enterprise tool, anyone that's got like a Shopify website, for example, they can plug in Cobi and then it can do all of the customer analysis for them and then start giving them hyper relevant content. And obviously there's many attributes to AI. So not only do we have the analysis piece, but then we also have like the LLM that sits underneath that. So really it's about being able to connect knowledge, customers and organizations together. And that's kind of like what we're focused on for the next couple of years.
Okay, now I will going to ask questions. I will going to merge them. Uh, Digital, we are living in a digital era where everything is digitalized. On the other side, you need to maintain relationship with your customers. So how to maintain a good network with your audience or with your clients, and how we can transform our business digitally.
Um, it starts off with being authentic with yourself, understanding who you are and how you like to communicate. That's the first thing. It's widely known that, you know, networking can be challenging. It can come across as, you know, too salesy. So if you're able to connect with intent, and when I say connect with intent, have good intentions for a conversation, maybe take an interest in a shared interest in a subject matter, be open to learning, which is something that's key at Cobi for us, is just being kind of cognizant that we do need to learn a lot more things. So I think, and that transforms into networking as well. being ready to learn from others is probably the best place to be. That knowledge sharing is probably how you're able to build those relationships, is where I'd start. From a digital perspective, I'd also look at, I'm a big fan of seeing people build in public. We're not doing that yet. I'm a huge fan of that, but I'm a bigger fan of, again, engaging with intent. So, being in people's DMs, being in the comment section, taking away those relationships. Is that it's really about taking action based off of what you're seeing. So if you connect with somebody and you're going to an event, take action, be proactive, I think is key as well. Yeah, so that's probably my takeaways. It would be authentic, take action, be engaging, and share knowledge as well. Don't just take from a relationship or an opportunity. Give to an opportunity as well.
So creating opportunities is the most important. But what if plan A doesn't work? Then what is your plan B?
It's hard to say, right? Because I'm in a startup, so we're accustomed to pivoting. When plan A doesn't work, you go to plan B, right? And sometimes there is no plan B, so you have to create plan B on the spot. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think switching plans is a testament to understanding and being self-aware of your own situation. So when it comes to different plans, you'll probably, as a founder, be thinking of so many different scenarios. You probably have about 8 to 10 plans at the same time running coherently. So it's more a case of, when do you decide to switch the plan? I think that's being key. It's being able to make that decision of, okay, now I'm ready to switch to plan B because I can see that this hasn't worked and that hasn't worked. Yeah, being self-aware, knowing some of the attributes, being okay with ambiguity and not knowing is also key. But yeah, understanding the intent goes back to intent. It goes back to objectives. What's the overall objective you're trying to see? And then being able to take action fast. Speed of execution is second to none there.
Very well said. As you know that we have a time limit. So before leaving, any message for young people who want to achieve something in their life, but they're confused. So what is your message to them?
The fact that you are thinking about an entrepreneur, you're already on your entrepreneurial journey. So stay on that journey is the best thing I can say to a young entrepreneur. It may not necessarily pan out or it may not manifest in the way that you think it will, but what it absolutely will do is give you a whole bunch of tools. You'll learn a bunch of lessons, and you will arrive in a place where you feel confident, if not in your original idea, then on your third, fourth, fifth idea. And it's a roller coaster, it's giving, and you will be rewarded for consistency. That's probably the best advice I could give a young entrepreneur.
Thank you so much, Darren, for your precious time. And I think a lot of people have learned a lot of new things. If you like the video, then do subscribe the channel and leave a comment and tell us which thing you like the most about this podcast. And we will going to meet you in the next podcast. Till then, take care. Bye bye.